This meeting of the Gulfstream County Commission is called to order. Rita, would you call roll, please?
Commissioner Ganger.
Here.
Commissioner Stanley.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Orthwein. Here. Mayor Morgan.
Here. We're going to have a presentation of the proposed budget and millage rate for fiscal year 2014-15. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. You have been provided the public or the budget document for pending budget 2014-2015. I'll go over some of the highlights and answer any questions that you may have. First of all, it is obviously a balanced budget, $4,129,691. The revenues equal expenditures, and included in the expenditure is a line item for contingency or reserves in the amount of $169,550. The proposed millage rate for 2014-2015 is 3.90. This budget has been calculated on that millage rate, 3.90. Last year's millage rate was 3.70. The operating taxable value for fiscal year 2014-2015 is a little over $878 million. The calculated rollback rate for the tentative budget for the fiscal year 2014-2015, the calculated rollback rate is 3.4960. 3.4969, excuse me. I'll repeat it again. The calculated rollback rate is 3.4969. And our proposed millage rate is 11.53% higher than the calculated rollback rate. Some of the highlights of the budget is the capital expenditures totaling $662,000. Primarily most of that coming from the proposed installation of street lights and the elimination of our street signs or our monument signs. That's a little over $421,000. We are providing for some paving for our town and drainage, and that again, those capital expenditures total $662,000. We're providing for a 3% increase in wages to our employees. The CPI for 2014, April 2014 was 2.3. That historically has been the benchmark that we have used to calculate any increases and possible increases in wages. So with that, I would try to answer any questions that you might have, but it is a balanced budget. It's ready for your review and approval.
Any questions by commission members?
Bill,
Yes.
You went fairly quickly over that capital budget.
Yes.
And you said that part of it is for roads.
Yes.
Is, in your opinion, enough in the budget for roads for this year, or are you sacrificing some work that might otherwise be done in order to make sure that we have enough money for other purposes?
There's no question that we are going to be sooner or later required to do some overlaying in our streets, and $40,000 will not do that, but we have to do it in phases. This is not the ideal budget, the capital budget that I would hope for, but it is, again, a capital budget providing for some improvements and trying to balance the budget with some other very high priorities, issues and line items.
If there's a real problem with a road and you have to do something,
Yeah.
and you've got $40,000 set aside, is that enough to do what, typically when something happens, it doesn't just one little hole, it starts to cave in?
Yeah. I believe that would be enough for a situation like that. I have no indication that we're going to have major collapses in our roads or anything of that nature, but it is something that you normally do a little bit at a time. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do a little bit at a time here most recently, so. But I do believe that 40,000 could take care of a situation like what you just described.
Okay.
Any other questions of the town manager from the commission?
Bill, on page 11, I think I know the answer to this, I just want you to confirm it. On your budgeted contingency, which would be what we're adding to the reserve account each year going forward, from this year going forward, you left the millage at 3.9, obviously?
Yes.
Okay.
It is an assumption. I really believe that it's difficult to forecast just exactly what may be happening in some of the challenges, and I think you know what I mean by challenges in our town.
Right, when we see the total revenue, you're calculating that in the total revenue.
Yes, I am.
They're staying above 4 million.
Yes. I'd like to see that drop. It will drop in time, but
We say this every meeting, and we're still a long way from where we want to be with respect to our reserves. So, this is not going to be easy to transition from, one crisis potentially to another. What happens if we have a hurricane? What happens if the roads really do degrade? What happens to the pipes that are 70 years old or 60 years old or whatever they are? We are not exactly building a war chest for the future under these assumptions, and therefore, I mean, to say that doing anything less than 3.9 in the next several years, knowing what we know, probably is fairly conservative. I mean, if anybody thinks that taxes are going to drop, millage is going to drop back to levels that we used to enjoy, it's probably not going to happen.
That's a good point. We don't like to. We were all very reluctant and hesitant to increase it in the first place. But particularly with what we know about the condition of the age of the water lines, we really need to be better prepared in terms of our reserves. Other questions, town manager?
Bill, on page 7, the first column, 2014 and 2015 estimated cost, and then the next
Yeah,
column
yeah,
is 2014, 2015 in
yeah,
both
that should
places.
be 13, 14, apologize.
The first one should be
Yeah,
13,
That's
14.
correct. It's a
Good
progressional,
catch.
it's a progressional estimate for capital in order to project fund balance at some future date. Capital has to be a consideration. That is a clerical error. The numbers are accurate, but that heading is wrong.
So the heading is amended 2013, 2014, is that correct?
That is correct.
Good eye. Anything else? Questions from the public? Yeah.
Mr. Thrasher, I think you said that the budget was
Could you
roughly
just
full.
state your name, please, or if you could, please come up to the podium.
My name is Barbara Sloan, and I live at 3860 Bermuda Lane. My question is, or has to do with the percentage of the budget related to legal fees, as well as the percentage of the budget related to all the records requests. Is there a way to come up with a rough estimate in terms of how much the nuisance is costing our town?
Yes, the answer to your question, there is a way, and if I were to estimate, I'd say that there's about 20% of our total budget that is being utilized for legal and public records management.
Thank you.
Another way to look at it, though, is the percent of our property tax revenue. What the principal cashed in, it would obviously be a higher number. I don't know if you can do that in your head, but, it's, because you're paying for that.
Well, I think the town, in my opinion, it's a shame that this meeting is happening at this time of year. Because, as everybody knows, not too many of the residents are here. I would love to see either a letter from the mayor giving some information to the residents of the town, to apprise everybody to what is going on with some particulars. I'm not sure what can be done, but I think that there might even be a town revolt, who knows?
Barbara, just for clarification, when you say it's a shame it's happening this time of year, you know it has to happen this time of year?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I didn't think we were trying to do something when, just
No, no,
because
no.
everybody's away. And the 3.9 millage figure was provided to the county, and if you got your preliminary tax bill, it is reflected in that, and it cannot go higher by law. It could go lower if we could find some way to make it go lower. But the timing is just what the timing for the county, because the county's fiscal year starts on, all our fiscal years start on October.
Well, no, I just meant that I think that more residents would be very interested in hearing how much of their tax dollars are having to be spent on frivolous things, in some people's estimation.
So, Mr. Thrasher, comparing that statistic of 20%
That's just, I mean, that's just off the top of my
Ballpark
head,
estimate.
I mean, yes.
to what was, percentage was allocated, say, 3 years ago?
Close to zero, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can I speak?
Yes.
I don't know much about budgets, but could it be just
No,
a,
just identify
oh,
yourself.
I'm sorry, Patsy Randolph. Could it be a budget item? Could it have its own separate line?
Well, I know some may think that it does. I would like to say that this is really a complicated question. And I'll try to tell you why I think it is a complicated question. We've seen a severe shift in responsibilities for employees' work activities. We've always had, certain employees, and we've had certain activities that are normal to running a town. We're basically forced to shift the hours associated with things we should be taking care of to public records. So you have several line items that need to be looked at or to be considered, and then the reallocation of the work effort, what they're working on, you know. And we have a lot of overtime going on, so it's not possible to have just a single line item that says public records for many reasons, because it's made up of a composite of things. But in addition, the state of Florida requires that we use certain line item headings, and we have to report to the state each year those account numbers, the name of the account number that is required of us to report on. So that public records, there's no such line item, and I just can't create an account number that is not compatible or in alignment with the Chart of Accounts, State of Florida.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, could I answer Ms. Randolph's question, and I think, and the other gentlewoman's question. The state statutes provide
Chris,
a
Chris,
mechanism for you
Chris.
to get that information.
Identify yourself for the record.
I'm sorry?
Identify yourself for the record.
Oh, I think you did for me.
I
Chris O'Hare, 2520 Avenue, Soleil, Planet Earth. The state statutes say you can ask for a public record. You can ask Mr. Thrasher, please give me all the bills Jones Foster has charged the town for this public record work. You can ask, please give me all the staff time that's been paid for this, and they're obligated to give it to you. So it's not really a complicated thing to find out. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. O'Boyle.
Yes, Margie O'Boyle, tough act to follow. Well, it's clear to me that I'm the whipping boy, and I accept that. But it's also clear to me that the audience has not a clue what's going on, not even a clue. It's all on the surface. The young lady said something about having to be spent because of frivolous. What's frivolous?
Well, ask that you not address your questions to the audience, but
Well,
please make your
Chris did.
your comments here.
Well, Chris,
No, we don't get involved in questions and answers between residents at these public meetings. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions of us, just as previously it was not an opportunity for you to ask those questions.
I understand you don't want her to answer, and I don't.
It would not be
blame you.
fair or appropriate.
I disagree with you. You may, Mayor, want to share with the people in this town that the town, at the expense of the taxpayer, has hired an investigator to investigate my family. You may want to share that with them. Maybe that would help them understand a little bit more. And I would ask you to please do that. I have, it's either 9 or 12, and I don't know which one it is, honest, public records requests this year, none of which, to my knowledge, have been adjudicated. However, if we looked at the costs, my cost, their cost, I'll bet their cost is 3 times my cost. And the reason is not because they're defending, but because they're aggressively pursuing. There's a big difference. You can hide behind the word defending, but when you look at the dollars and cents, if there was an expert, I think he would say that. Also, there is a rumbling on the street, so to speak, that there is a big charge coming against me and my family. And I don't know whether it's true or not. I think it is. And if it is, I can assure everyone in this room that it'll cost you $1 million more. Not $100,000, not $200,000, $1 million. So, I'm not going to be messed around with by you guys. Let's make that straight, and I'll spend the money. I have the money. And you want to fight? You're going to get a fight. I told you last time, I thought the best thing is for everyone to sit down and see if there was a way to resolve things. You rejected that. You have every right to reject it. I understand that. And so we're moving on. But if you pursue something like I'm thinking that you're going to pursue, you'll be ready for me, or maybe you won't be ready for me, but you will after a while. I've been down this road before, and I spent over $1 million on similar situations. So I don't really want to spend that money. On the other hand, I will. Nobody's going to mess with my family. Nobody. That includes you, Mr. Morgan. So, the legal costs are absolutely out of control. But one has to ask, why are they out of control? We go, they won't answer questions, we go across the hall, we get stonewalled, they play hide the ball, whatever the case is, we file a lawsuit, and they file motions to dismiss, depositions, production, motions to disqualify, motions for sanctions, motions, and I'll bet they're probably in the $20,000 to $30,000 range for 3 cents worth of paper. In any event, I think it's foolishness. I think the people ought to get together. Not to say they're going to settle the differences, but you never will settle them until you start talking. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public? Mr. O'Hara.
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't addressing the budget before, I was just trying to answer the lady's question. I would like to talk a little bit about the budget. And with your permission, I'd like to begin by saying I'm grateful to live in a country where I can criticize the government and question authority without being arrested. I've been in a lot of third world countries, and it really is nice to be here. And just if I digress for a second, our Constitution is a marvelous thing. The rule of law is paramount to our self-image. Our republic is composed of 3 branches. You guys are legislative and executive, but there's a judiciary. You're all equal in power. And it's part of the democratic process that sometimes a judge has to intercede and straighten out the legislative. And that's really basically what this is all about. But let's talk about the budget. $4,136,691. A couple of items I'd like to comment on. The town library, that's the collection of books I guess were donated by residents. It's $2,000. Will that be moved outside of the security zone so anybody can go to the library, or can anybody go to the library now? Use the books?
The library is open to the public.
Okay, so you just gotta push the button. Okay. 4.2% increase in salary for police, 7.4% increase in benefits. That's a good thing. Those guys got a tough job, especially with some of the leadership and misdirection, and I recommend they get every bit of that raise. But Mr. Thrasher's getting 8.1% salary increase and an 8.2% benefits increase. Really? Really? Okay, legal. You got $440,000 budgeted for 2015. Not enough. The Palm Beach County tax collector tells me the tax revenue money won't be available to you until March 2015, 6 months from now. Given the pace of legal expenditures each month and because of soon-to-be upcoming litigation, this pace will quicken, and I expect the town's reserves will be depleted by Christmas. Something that this budget, I think, should include is a broker's fee for any possible bond or any other way you're going to come up with the money for the shortfall, because I think you're going to run out by Christmas. In the town's own defense, town leaders have blamed all their money troubles on Mr. O'Boyle and myself. I would like to offer the real reason the budget shortfall is because town leaders would rather spend public money than admit the town made a mistake. I just recently made an offer to settle for the filing fee. The town never responded in time. The amount of money the town will spend on the attorney responding is less than the money I asked for, and an admission that the record existed and please give it to me. It just doesn't make economic sense to spend more money having a lawyer tell me no instead of just settling and give me the record.
Is that the offer you made that was withdrawn yesterday, knowing that we had a commission meeting today at which it would have been presented?
I'm sorry.
Is that an offer that was withdrawn yesterday?
Oh, it
Deadline
expired after
put on
6
it when
days.
you knew the commission meeting at which it would be presented was today.
Well, I can appreciate that, sir. I seem to recall
I would think you
that
should.
when there was an issue, an emergency came up, that handicapped people had to be given a 6-month approval for any improvements to their home. The commission met 24 hours later to adopt that emergency measure, so I figured 24 hours
So
notice
we
is
would do
enough.
that for your filing fee settlement case? Is that what
No,
you're
we have to
suggesting?
decide, are handicapped people more important than the rule of law? But either way, we're progressing. I just got a few other budget
Okay, I
items.
just wanted to
Oh,
clarify
this
that
is
for
just-
the record.
I'm sorry,
I
clarify
wanted to
that.
clarify it for the record, but please proceed.
Oh, that the offer expired yesterday. Yes,
That's correct.
yes, that's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I said before, the public record policy is filled with a few things that I think are gonna end up in court. Let's see, page 2, 3. Town remodeling without a permit. The town's done extensive plumbing repairs and alterations. They put in an intercom system, but I got the permit record from Delray Beach, and you didn't get a permit for it. So you're gonna owe triple fines when you get that permit. That's just a waste of our money. And you are required to get a permit. You've got permits for lots of other things. I don't know why you did that. Now, the beauty of getting a permit is the inspector comes and he says, this has to be handicap accessible. You can't have an intercom up here when someone's in a wheelchair down here. So that's gonna have to be redone. It's just, Mr. Thrasher, come on. Should have known that. All right. Comprehensive land use plan. The town came up with an idea of, let's get rid of anybody that might park a message out there, and we'll take that away from beach parking. The comprehensive land use plan says that has to be beach parking. You can't reduce your recreational element. So you just violated the comprehensive land use plan by getting rid of that parking. So let's spend some money on a hedge, so if he does park over there, you can't see it because there's a hedge blocking. Well, that's great. Except when you look at the comprehensive land use plan, recreational element, hey, give me just a minute. We have 178 acres of recreation and open space. But that's only for people who belong to the private club. The amount of open space available to the average resident is 0. We have a beach, and you get to park here to go to the beach. And you've taken some of that parking away. But there's not one public bench, or mini park, or pocket park. Instead of spending the money on lawyers, it would be great if the kids had a swing set. You can't go to Gulfstream School, that's private. It just seems like a misappropriation of public money. Okay, like I said, there are issues coming up you don't even know about yet. Your money's gonna go soon. Your ADA ramp was never built. But probably the biggest thing is the vague law issue. I brought this up in the past. The town appointed a board to come up with some revisions to the code. Didn't result in anything. If you're going 35 miles an hour, the law says 35 miles an hour. That's a clear, unambiguous law. No parking in the town's right of way. That's clear law. All homes must be painted pink. That's clear. But a home design that can't be approved unless the town decides it matches what the town thinks is the character of the neighborhood without clearly defining that character, that's a vague law. That's going to end up in court. It's more expense. It's not frivolous either. Finally, the new town manager. In an email to Barron Signs last year, Mr. Thrasher, when asked about getting competitive bids for a street side project, I remember he wrote, "I don't care, I just need to hold on to my job for 3 more years." So I guess he's got a retirement thing coming up. If Mr. Thrasher intends to retire in 2015, the commission needs to budget for the search of his replacement. Mayor Rothwine once asked me, how do you go about finding a new town manager? Typically, you gotta hire a consultant, he advertises, shortlist maybe a half dozen people, you'll then interview them, shortlist it to a couple, start negotiating, finally find somebody. Could take months, cost a lot of money, needs to be in the budget. Unless, Mr. Thrasher, you're not planning on retiring, or maybe you are. Almost done. There's a lot of other litigation. I know you're on an executive meeting, and I hope Mr. Randolph shares it with you. There's trespassing on Polo Cove, which violates all maritime law, constitutional law, right to navigational waters. You're gonna lose that one. My roof, the solar, you're gonna lose that one. The anti-shush. What else we got? There's a couple other big ones, and I can't think of them right now. There's a lot on the board, and there's a lot coming. It'd be so much easier just to get this thing settled instead of spending more money each time the lawyers write a letter than it would take to just settle some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from the public? If not, there's been a recommendation that the town of Gulfstream adopt the general fund tentative millage rate for fiscal year 2014, 2015, 3.9 mils. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Rita?
Ganger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. It's been recommended that we adopt the tentative budget for fiscal year 2014-15 relative to the general fund and the enterprise fund, also known as the water fund. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved?
Second.
Read it.
Commissioner Ganger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. The next public hearing on the final adoption of the millage rate and budget will be Tuesday, September 23rd at 5:01. Put it on your calendars, please. Let's move next to the resolutions. First resolution is 14-07. Rita, would you please read that for us?
Happy to. A resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for the Town of Gulfstream General Fund for fiscal year commencing on October 1st, 2014, and ending on September 30th, 2015, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, on September 12th, 2014, adopted 2014-15 fiscal year tentative millage rates following a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. And whereas the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. And whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Palm Beach County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream as $878,520,599. Now therefore be it resolved at the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, that Section 1 of the fiscal year 2014-15 operating millage rate is 3.9 mils, which is greater than the rollback rate of 3.4969 mils by 11.53%. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. It's presented and adopted at public hearing this 12th day of September 2014.
Thank you. Resolution 14-07 has been read, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for the Town of Gulfstream General Fund for fiscal year commencing October 1, 2004 and ending September 30, 2015, providing an effective date today. Is there a motion?
I so move to approve resolution 01407.
Second.
Rita?
Commissioner Ganger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. And Rita, resolution 14-08. Read that.
A resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, adopting the general fund tentative budget for the Town of Gulfstream for the fiscal year commencing on October 1, 2014, and ending on September 30th, 2015, providing for an effective date. Whereas the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2014-15 in the amount of $4,136,691. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Florida, that Section 1, fiscal year 2014-15 general fund tentative budget be adopted. Section 2, this resolution to take effect immediately upon its adoption. Passed and adopted at public hearing this 12th day of September 2014.
Resolution 14-08 has been read, adopting the general fund tentative budget for the Town of Gulfstream for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2004 and ending on September 30, 2015, effective this date. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve resolution 01408.
Second.
Rita?
Commissioner Ganger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Mayor Morgan?
Yes. And finally, Rita, would you read resolution 14-09?
Certainly. A resolution of the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, adopting the water fund tentative budget for the Town of Gulfstream for a fiscal year commencing on October 1, 2014 and ending on September 30, 2015, providing for an effective date. Whereas the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2014-15 in the amount of $1,011,000. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Commission, Town of Gulfstream, Florida, that Section 1, the fiscal year 2014-15 Water Fund tentative budget be adopted. Section 2, this resolution should take effect immediately upon its adoption, and it's passed and adopted at a public hearing this 12th day of September 2014.
Thank you. Resolution 14-9 has been read, adopting the water fund tentative budget for the town of Gulfstream for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2014, and ending on September 30, 2015, effective today. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
I so move to approve resolution 014-09.
And I second.
Rita?
Commissioner Hanger.
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Northwell.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Right.